Well, as opposed to some of the other cable operators, we don't have the luxury of doing things sequentially. German cable has started late in upgrading networks to two-way, rolling out high-speed data and voice, creating interactive TV services. So we have to do those things in parallel, and accordingly our priorities are on multiple fronts at the same time. So we will continue our rollout of DOCSIS 3 quite aggressively. We will certainly continue building on our DVR platform, the DVR 2.0 as we call it, which is a full-tuner PVR, and we'll add features to that go in the direction of adding some of the services that you typically see over the top onto our platform as well. We'll also do some more upgrades on the network side themselves. So in a lot of ways we're dealing with multiple fronts in parallel. Which is a challenge on the one hand side, but the other side you also have the advantage that in a lot of areas we're greenfield and therefore can actually employ the latest and greatest in technology, giving us the ability to truly deal without legacy and roll out services that are absolutely state of the art. The story with the gigabit trial very simply is that there is talks in Germany about rolling out fiber to the home in some areas, especially some, from my perspective, cross-subsidized environments in local municipalities where power companies are starting to do rollouts like that. And the message I wanted to bring across very clearly is that regardless of who is investing, what they're doing, cable is already there, right? The capacity that is inherent to the cable network, just in the architecture of hybrid fiber coax, is so tremendous, is so big that we can always, hands down, compete with any technology, any last mile technology that's out there today. While that was clear on principle and was clear on paper, I wanted to make the point that, hey guys, this is not just on paper, this is for real. Coming back to the second part of the question, what to do with it, how would I know, right? There is nothing that you can do to fill that capacity today. In fact, one of the toughest aspects of the trial was to actually create that capacity to fill the gigabit in the first place. So at the end of the day, we were using traffic generators and other things to actually create capacity to fill the pipe because there wasn't enough real legitimate internet content you could use to actually fill the gigabit. We have not yet launched VOD officially. We have launched in September an HD DVR, which is a full-tuner DVR, which is the platform that we continue to build our services on. So we'll build on top of that more and more features, also VOD. In fact, we're field trialing VOD in 2 major cities in Germany as we speak, and we still plan to launch it in this fiscal year, which ends the 31st of March. So that will continue to evolve, and HDVOD certainly will be one platform and one aspect of that will build on top of that platform. But that platform will be very flexible, and actually is already very flexible, and will continue to add features to that, in particular when it comes to some of the services that you typically see on the web today, to bring them over into the regular cable experience as well. It goes pretty much everywhere, right? I mean, every single aspect that you have, I mean, you do see these benefits. I've been working with Liberty Global for 9.5 years before joining KDG, so I've gone through this growth cycle already once. And one of the advantages is you can take shortcuts if you know what's happening next, right? So that's certainly one thing. The other thing is that, to give a simple example on voice, right? If you started doing voice over cable in the 1990s, right, or early 2000s, then typically you would have a traditional class 5 infrastructure. Wouldn't be all IP. Well, we are all IP from the strat, right? So that's a given. Similar aspects on how do you deal with the platform for VOD. Do you integrate IP-based content or don't you, right? If you started VOD in the 90s, you certainly wouldn't because it wasn't there, right? So it's things like that where we can actually are the height of the time, or the development of the time, to make sure that we can actually deliver the services that are up to date today, as opposed to what was there and taking care of legacy and integrating that and then gradually upgrading. So. DVB-C2 is basically more capacity, right? It's more robust in terms of forward error correction, technical terms, so you can deliver the signal in worse networks at higher capacity. That's essentially what it boils down to. Which basically means that if you take a look at the 862 megahertz spectrum that we have in the cable network in Europe typically, if you use current technology with DVB-C or with DOCSIS, you get up to about 5 gigabit per second of capacity. And if you use DVB-C2, you get up to 8 gigabit per second. So the main thing it gives you is more capacity. That is a key driver for us, so you can put more digital channels into the same spectrum. You can deliver more content to your customer base, be it linear or non-linear. The standard is closed, so it's an official standard by now. The first silicon will be available this calendar year, and we do expect to go into extended field trials still this calendar year as well.